consequently, we could, sure.
I think you need to have somebody readily available. That's what concerns me. If you go into a household and you have a Hispanic family that may not speak English very well, it'd be a matter of life and death.
We have had one applicant in 4 years, Spanish-speaking person.
And I'm not saying someone on the force, I'm just saying someone readily available.
He had someone,
Yep.
like you say, but he overbilled him.
Give Marshall Bird, he understands it.
But I think he, you know, we went down that road back then, you know, when you first, I think you were the one who presented him.
Right.
And what I was saying is, since he didn't work out, maybe we should look at find somebody. You know, that's on the call-out basis.
Maybe it's something the administration can look into and bring back to the council. You know, bring back to the administration.
From our end, and I want to thank you for being polite about it. I think that the diversity and cultural training we're receiving has been doing really well. When I came in, Sheila and I talked immediately, and with Kay, and we started doing it. I think that is happening in the public safety forces, Mr. Johnson, as well, through fire and police. Those things can always be tweaked and worked on because of the nature, especially for police, they deal in a lot of conflict situations. One thing I am concerned about, I want to thank you for being polite about it, about us not having it there. I think that's unacceptable. I think that we need to immediately remedy that. A city this size, and I didn't know that we had lost that agreement. A city this size, we need to have that. It could be the matter of life or death. With communicating with somebody, it could save a life to be able to do that. And Alexandria is way too big a city at this point not to have that in place, and not to have that person available to other communities, rural communities and places where it can make a difference. We have a great Hispanic population that serves us all around here, and we need to be able to react to those things. Forest Hill, for example, they might have a need where there are a lot of folks living that we can be of benefit. And so I appreciate you being polite. I think we need to correct it immediately.
Mr. Mayor, it may be the other way around. They may be able to help us.
That's true. So we have the Hispanic community as a big-time economic engine for our area. Those folks have come here and made it home, and they provide a lot of help to our tax base, to be quite frank with you, and we ought to be mindful of having that.
And keep in mind that if we have to train each individual officer, it's going to require some overtime because they work shifts. So don't be surprised.
I don't think that's an impediment.
Mr. Marshall.
I don't think that would be a real problem, Chief. But the main thing of it is that we have to have somebody that can speak Spanish fluently. And I personally, I'd like to see, you know, us be able to do that. And if necessary, we send somebody to school.
Well, again, we do have an officer that works for us who does speak Spanish, and we do have people that we can call in the community that will show up within minutes. I mean, just to translate for us anyway. We do have that available.
That's what I was asking.
And we do make use of it. And most of them are volunteering, they're not getting paid for it. But we will initiate another program.
You didn't miss a step when you talk about pay. We're paid 4 times.
Okay, I would like to thank the administration for that report, and we'll follow up on that issue, you know, at a later date, so you see that we take the necessary measures and steps to correct that problem. Any of the issues should come up before public safety at this time in transportation. If not, this meeting is adjourned.
Call Economic Development Committee to order. Members President, yours truly, Mr. Silver and Mr. Johnson. Item number 1 is to discuss free bus service for the holidays. Trey? The intent here is, I was thinking as I was driving one day, I looked to my right and I saw a lady with several bags shopping, and I said, she's obviously riding the bus trying to get some items and gifts. I thought it'd be wonderful, particularly since we're enjoying a pretty decent fund balance, if we could, for the holiday season, afford opportunity for those that ride the bus Many are not necessarily the upper incomes of citizens, that we give them an opportunity to ride free, which will give them an opportunity to shop maybe more, which will give us an opportunity to get more sales tax. But I want to put this on the agenda and see if there's what we need to do, if it's the wishes of this body to afford that opportunity to the riders.
And Mr. Lawson, I'll be glad to look at the issues. I am concerned with two basic problems, and that is that we cannot give something away that's the city's, perhaps because of the constitutional prohibition and because of some of our fiscal responsibilities. That doesn't mean that there may be some exceptions. I know we can do it for the needy, for instance.
Do it for the art museum too.
And what my main concern, besides the Article 7, Section 14 prohibition, is I would want to review the current grant contracts we have with the Urban Mass Transit Association to be sure. I don't see Mr. Lamont, he's not in here, but we want to make sure that we're not required by to capture some fee. I think, Mr. Lawson, that there could be certainly reduced fare days. For instance, you could have bus rides for a quarter. If
Paula just wrote 5 cents on the sheet of paper.
You may be able to do it for 5 cents, but I do want to look at that issue before we make a pronouncement, particularly if there's a problem with the federal grant applications and some of our reimbursement requirements.
I'd like to approve it contingent upon it meeting the legal test. We did it for FEMA. I don't know, we're reimbursed, of course. We're reimbursed.
During that time period.
But CAT also does it in Baton Rouge, Capital Area Transit.
And
I know they provide free downtown shuttle service.
There may be a basis for it, depending on the language of the grant agreements. I just would want to look at it and be cautious before we do something that gets us particularly having any question with our reimbursements from our grants. But I would want to look at that and report back. And I would suggest, obviously, because of the time, you're interested in doing this during the holiday period, that we proceed if it's a legitimate, we have that ability. But I would want to look at that, Mr. Lawson.
I'd ask that at least we entertain a motion to provide free bus service to our citizens during the holiday period, which would begin upon the passage of this up until maybe a week after the 1st of January.
And you may want to qualify free.
No, don't consider it free.
Free or reduce.
Yes, sir.
I know you have a problem with free here.
Either free or modified fee.
A free or reduced fee for that period. It would, yeah. Would you offer that informed motion? I'm chairing it. So. How about Mr. Okay, you move?
I move.
And Mr. Silver?
Only you strike out the word free.
If you take what Trey has billed just for the time it took to discuss it, a bunch of people could run it.
Okay. Reduced or free? You second, I'll second it.
Merry Christmas, Trey.
And I'll even do the research for free.
I just heard Crutchfield hit the ground back there.
That means it's already done if you're going to do it for free. Okay, let's see if we can move second sentence to the county. Let's see if we can do it as soon as possible, Trey, so we can put it on the
Yes, sir. I do want
access
to talk
channel.
to Mr. Lamont and to go over any current grant agreements that we do have, and I will try to find him this evening or in the morning.
Okay, thank you. And that's something, another discussion down the line too. When we have these large conventions, as I was saying, with Capital Area Transit providing the free shuttle services, which is very, very beneficial down there. Item number 2 is discuss improving Convention Hall with its appearance and with technology. What caught my attention here, we were at a function for the Business League several weeks ago, and it was at Dr. Carson's place. What's it, SAC? I forget the name of it. Anyway, it's a very nice facility. And what he did essentially was put carpet down there and change the lighting, and the appearance just added a lot of value. If we're not careful, we're going to sleep through the revolution. That was a decent city hall 25 years ago to meet. Now, if you go into other cities, you go to that convention space, Oftentimes you'll find internet service that's free wireless. You'll find little drop-down screens, PowerPoint presentation machines. And I just think we need to, if we're going to be in the convention business, where is she? We need to, there she is, we need to make sure that we keep our buildings current with the time. That includes the Riverfront Center, which she's been doing through the Capitol. And I'm not excluding the Riverfront in the discussion. That's all that.
And we thank y'all for funding those projects previously. We've been phasing them in. We just finished the operable wall, the movable wall portion, and some significant interior aesthetic improvements. The technological improvements are the next phase. On the technological piece, the wireless internet's already in and operating. We're looking at between 2 and 4 motorized screens, 2 projectors. We haven't decided whether we're going to bring them down on elevators or permanently mount them.
2 projectors?
2 different. Okay. Well, we don't have them. We're
looking at it.
We're looking at them, and we anticipate being able to purchase them between January and February as they're on state contract. So we won't have to go through the bid process has already been done at the state level. Some audio improvements, and then 2 large LCD panels in the lobby to show what's going on. And we anticipate being able to get a purchase order sometime in January. The guy said that he was talking about 3 to 4 weeks delivery on, once we have the order. So it's close.
What about the color?
Sir?
It sounds basic with it.
Colored lighting comes phase 3, which RJ Dunn, EE Consultants, is working on the bid specifications for. As y'all may remember, the 3 colors that shine up on the sloping ceiling, and those will be replaced by, they were cold cathode, which is an obsolete technology, but they'll be replaced by LED multicolored lights as part of the electrical dimmer improvements, which I'm hoping RJ will have our specs together in January or February, but those will have to go through the bid process, which will put them in the length of the bid process and construction afterwards.
So we're going to end up with a better looking city hall.
I think I'm really excited about the improvements that you guys have funded and that the administration's allowed us to go forward with.
What about that backstage? Is that we're doing something with the stage? Looks like it's kind of worn.
The stage is actually it's in solid condition as far as structurally, but it needs to the one on the south end.
Right.
It does need some aesthetic work on it, and backstage there's some aesthetic work left there where those folding doors have been damaged. As far as the stage on the Civic Club end, that needs to be replaced with a
That's the one I was talking about.
yes, and that's an operating item that will be subject to administrative review, and but I would anticipate that coming up in the operating budget if it passes a preliminary muster. Anything else about that? I know that she can speak, but I know Mark Jones has been working diligently to get the electronics, that he's really made a effort to get what they have in place up and running to its fullest potential. I think he's done an excellent job down there.
Do we have big screens in yet, Sherry? The monitor, we ordered them? And we didn't fund them?
They've been requested.
Okay.
I think there's a bid process that's being negotiated on that.
Okay.
He's just I'm not really involved directly in that, but he's been we've been
Okay.
trading notes.
Okay,
Anything else?
that's it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Item number 3, discuss expansion, growth of utility transportation. We'll say that probably for another day, if that's okay. But what, I've talked to the mayor a little bit about it, just to hit on a little bit today. I'm concerned that we exhaust our resources when we're growing outwardly. And I just want to kind of assess where we were on this and kind of get some feedback from the administration as to are we making the situation better, or is it getting worse with the way we're growing at this point?
We'll give we can today, but like you said, in the interest of time, we'll give a bigger report. And after the meeting, or right after the council meeting, after 5, we'll have out front, and I'll pass out to all of you, workforce development plan for action and small business retention and assistance program. This is an outline paper for 2008 action. It was completed June 5, 2007. It's about 12 pages, and it goes through lots of things that we've done and need to do. This was in large part accomplished with the help of Vaughn Jennings, and Ms. Jennings especially has sections on industry cluster analysis and doing a community audit. I'd like to report to you that, as we know, the Chamber just released an industry cluster analysis that was from some years back, so we have some information that we didn't have at the time this was compiled. But there'll be a report of that nature, the economic development plan for the city that addresses some of those very issues, Mr. Lawson, annexation and so forth. About a 23-page report is bound and ready, and it'll be outside as well. And then for anybody who didn't get the 2007 progress report, that also is outside. So plenty of reading if people are interested and want to get involved, and it outlines where we've been. And it's the economic development plan is a pretty broad item. It takes into consideration everything from things Mr. Moeller's talked about on Masonic to the McElroy study, the Moore study in January of 1999. It has an endnote page that shows some sources, a Brookings Institution study about downtown revitalization, and many, many other things. It goes through a pretty broad, sweeping assessment of the city and economic development. And Mr. Lawson, you already have a copy, of course, from months ago, but that'll be available out front.
Okay. I want to commend Mr. Moeller, since you mentioned Masonic Drive looks a lot better. The Cavalier Hotel is gone. I've heard nothing but positives on that. I do know that you had it secured upon the day you purchased it to make sure that vagrants didn't go in there and do any damage. So congratulations on that, and keep it going. Yes.
Mr. Lawson, I have one more item that I would like to add to the agenda. This came up as somewhat of an emergency because of the time delays, and I'd like to ask y'all to consider a fact sheet for an ordinance authorizing the city to enter into a cooperative endeavor with interdenominational area-wide crusade to support the community events for Martin Luther King Day, January 18th through the 21st. It actually goes over the weekend and into that Monday. And of course, you know, the purpose is to honor Dr. Martin Luther King's endeavors and to encourage the citizens to come together to strengthen our community, to alleviate poverty, and to acknowledge dignity and respect for all human beings. If we don't pass this, if we don't introduce this today, there's not going to be enough time after the next council meeting to get it passed before the event. And I'm going to ask that, in spite of the directive from Mr. Marshall that we recognize and we tried to honor, if we could have this added today.
Take a motion.
Move.
Second by Harry.
Yeah, no expense.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor, aye? Opposed, motion carries. That completes the economic development committee. Meeting adjourned.
Yeah, that's good.